Hello, 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 hello. So today's show is sponsored, of course, by Impact Interior Materials. If you guys need any interior materials, anything from seat belts to carpet to headlining to the material for your seats, planes, trains, automobiles, anything, Impact can help you. So today's guest is Indy Scale Customs. So I'm super excited to have him on. It's been a long time coming because a lot of you guys have questions about what he does with the scale cars and makes replicas of people's cars. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring him on. I see he just joined. Have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you click the link in my bio and subscribe. Hello.
Hey, what's
How are
good?
you? What's going on?
What's good?
Hey man, listen. This has been a long time coming. I appreciate you. I know that a lot of you guys are not camera people.
Yeah,
So whatever we could do to make this happen, I was willing for us to do it to be able to make this happen.
I appreciate it.
First I want to tell you, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said I appreciate it.
First, I want to tell you thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to sit down and speak with us. I know all of you guys are extremely busy, especially I know you were probably busy leading up to Christmas and stuff like that. So I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk to us.
Likewise.
So first, I'll start off with one of my questions, and then I'll get right into the fans' questions. Cool?
Cool.
All right. So I want to know how you got started doing what you do.
Well, I guess it takes me back to when I got my license. I was about 15. Started getting into like the Regals, the G bodies. That was my first car. So I go to like the Super Chevy shows, the lowrider shows, and I'd see like the model cars, and basically it just kind of made me think that, man, I want to start doing that. And it kind of spawned from there. I gave up on it for a little bit, but eventually I got back into it. It's just something that kind of never left me, and I'm kind of artistic in that sense that I see something I kind of want to try it out or recreate it or something like that. And a lot of people, they don't have the money that a lot of people do, to buy these cars. And so, the next best thing for them is to have like a little toy replica, or something like that. But it kind of really just fell into my lap. It wasn't something that I thought, hey, I'm gonna come out here and just start making replicas for people. uh, a lot of people, they want to see what their car might look like in a rendering. Say you got an old school, you want to bolt up something to it, but you don't want to spend 5 stacks to get those wheels and then not like them. So it kind of made sense to me that, hey, if I can make these wheels in like a littler scale, it can kind of give people an idea of, hey, this is kind of what my car would look like.
Right.
So it's kind of worked out for me in a sense that a lot of people really, really are into getting toys. They might act tough and say, "Oh, I'm not into toys," or they're toy cars, and I play with them as kids. But secretly, they really do like them.
Right. And how long have you been doing it now?
Uh, I think I started back with maybe about end of summer, maybe. I mean, I haven't
Really?
been in it. Yeah, I haven't been in it that long, and I went from like a little following, just kind of like overnight, just kind of blew up. Uh, it wasn't something that I seen, taking shape, but as it did, my head started thinking like, oh man, this could make me some money if I do it the right way, you know. But I actually enjoy the hobby. It wasn't even about selling things, because originally I told people I don't sell nothing, and they kind of get bummed out about it. And I'm just like, hey, I do this for myself, and for my kids. I don't do this to, please other people or do this for other people. And we came into a hard time this past year. I lost my job, had some issues, and my son needed a surgery.
Right.
The surgery was like $20,000, and we lost our insurance. So I thought, hey, maybe I should start selling some of these cars. Try to make up some money and get that situation kind of taken care of. So it really was like God just dropped it in my lap. He was like, okay, you need help, here you go. This is what you can do. And the time being, I'm not like a whole lot of other people, man. I do 9 to 5. Well, you know what I mean? And I come home and I do this another like 10 hours. So, I don't get a lot of sleep, and I put in a lot of work for people, and I just hope that they appreciate it. And most of the time they do. It's been pretty good, on that end, with people receiving it and giving love back and showing love. And with you, for instance, like I never expected to hear from you in my DM that one day. So it is what it is.
You know what? You know what made me DM you? I am okay. So I know some people who get on YouTube and Instagram. They only want to talk to maybe people who race or people who own cars or people. I consider my show like all around just for the car culture. Like, you can have a shop, you can make things, you can have a car, you can race. Whatever you do, I literally want to know a little bit about everything everyone does. And another thing that drew me to you is I'm all about manifestation, right? So
Okay.
I know you probably saw it. My little Grand National.
Yeah.
Grand National. I found one. A Grand National is my dream car. So I have my 86 SST top, which is one of my dream cars. And it fell in my lap. So that was on like one of my vision boards way back. To have a T-top Monte Carlo. So being that I'm all about manifestation, I feel like I really kind of probably need to get you to make me a little Grand National the way that I want it, so I can just sit it there and look at it every day, because manifestation is real for me. So if I can look at it, if you can look at something, if you can visualize something, you can do it. So to the people who you say can't afford the cars that you make for them or get the cars from you, I would say to them, manifestation is real, and if you can visualize it, you can do it. That's why this thing worked out the way that it worked out for you. You said you never saw it blowing up the way that it did, and you haven't even reached the pinnacles that you are going to reach. So I'm happy that, like, what's really weird, and I know people are wondering why you got on the mask, right? So I'll explain.
Mm-hmm.
I think I asked you to be on the show months and months and months ago, right? Because my show, usually my schedule is laid out 3-4 months at a time. And you were like, oh, I don't know. I'm really not a camera person. I really don't, I'm not in it for people to really know who I am and things like that. And you was like, you know what? I can get a mask by then, right? So for me, it said a lot about you, because you could have just said no, right? But being that you were like, okay, you know what, I can make it happen. I can get a mask. I can make sure that I come on the show and we can talk. I was so humbled by that, because you could have just said no. And I was like, dang, he's willing to do that for me. Not only you, like a lot of the other guys that like don't do interviews or don't talk to people. That just says a lot about Cause I'm like you, right? I never saw my role or my show or what I do in the car world get into where it is now, and I still know it hasn't, just like you, haven't even reached the pinnacles that it's gonna reach.
Right.
But I'm appreciative that people respect me enough. People like you respect me enough to come on the show, no matter what you got to do to make it happen.
Right.
So to you, I'll say, I appreciate the fact that, one, you were willing to do that, and two, how humble and like how we don't know each other personally, but we talk in the DMs and you tell me stuff, and you like, I'm like, dang, this is so dope, because your craft to me is like one of the dopest things ever. You know, for you to be able to take a little bitty small car and make it look just like how somebody's big car looks, I think that's just one of the dopest things ever.
Everybody needs a toy of their toy, you know what I mean? And I appreciate that, KP. You know, and I like talking to you. I like spreading positivity. You know, if we all help each other, you know, that would make the world such a better place. But unfortunately, in today's times, it's, you know, not necessarily received as that. And a lot of people are just, you know, self-ambitious, self-centered, self-absorbed, and they can't see past themselves to see other people or to help other people. And, you know, whatever I can try to do. I'm not saying I'm Mr. Generosity over here, or, you know, I'm over here holding charities all the time, but I try to do things like that every once in a while. I did a charity not too long ago for a guy that I knew. His son was going, you know, through chemo and battling cancer. And, you know, if you got kids, what you do, it's hard to see that, you know, and whatever you can do to contribute to help, that's gonna make a difference, regardless if it's $5 or 5,000 or whatever the case may be. You did something, you know, and and to do this, it does take a lot of time, and it stresses you out, especially when you're under like time constraints. People want you to do this or do that, and you feel like you're obligated to make it perfect, you know, like obviously nothing's ever going to be perfect, but I'm kind of a perfectionist in the sense that if I want to get something, you know, for myself, I want it to be a certain way. So I expect to do that for the people that are my customers, or whatever the case may be. So uh, I, I don't know, man. It's just it's been wild. That's all I can say. and it really, you know, a lot of people don't know. You know, I got cars too. You know, I just sold my Regal, and it was a nightmare. I bought it with the intention to build it with my son. Uh, it's been a long time in the coming. I've had 6 or 7 Regals, and every time I start to build them, something happens. You know, in life, something comes along. You got to sell it, or the engine goes out. You just don't have the money to keep up with it. You know, and that was kind of the case with my son and his surgery. So we sold the Regal, you know, to try to get more money up. And you know, it's just, I'll find another one, you know, but that's who I am. I'm a Buick boy, you know, like you see most of my page used to be Grand Nationals and Regals. I mean, that's all I care. I'm like you. The Grand National is my dream car, you know, and I mean, I just, I can't even begin to tell you how long I've wanted one, and to have like 6 or 7 Regals and never actually have a GN. It's just like, oh, man, I could have bought one, you know, so many years now. I could have bought one, but it just never happened. It never came to fruition. But, you know, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. Just like with you. I can see you right now, next year, 2023, you're going to be rolling in that GN. And when you do, I hope that I get a ride with you at least one time.
You can. Listen, here's my thing when it comes to a couple of things about the car world, right? First of all, us car people, it would have been it'd probably be cheaper for us to do drugs than to build these cars. Because I tell you what, these cars are, I didn't have no gray hairs when I started building that car. I swear, I was like, you know what, I'm so sick of this. I almost sold the car several times. I'm still building on it. And then the other thing is people, Rick Ross said it best, right? Everybody is different in their building stage. He said he remembers when he had to go to Mako and get paint jobs.
Right.
He hadn't always been who he is to be able to afford the paint jobs that he can. So one thing I do respect about a lot of the people that's in the car world, we know that everybody's in a different stage. Everybody can't afford a $20,000 Dayton's. Everybody can't afford to go drop a bag and buy a Grand National. Everybody can't afford to do different things. So I just respect people where they are, where they are on their car journey. There's some people that's just very new or young in their car journey. Some people that's been doing it for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you know, and they have grown. Financially, we have grown. Mature mentally, we have grown. Your first car bill will never be like your last car bill, because when you did your first car bill, there were things you didn't know.
Exactly.
You didn't know where to go get these parts, or you didn't know how to spend the money or how to budget, which budget's out the window when you're building these cars anyway. But everybody is just different in their car journey. And what I will say to you, I know you had, and that's another reason why I think, you know, this was supposed to happen. Me and you, the interview was supposed to happen, because that's an amazing story that you life got in the way of your car bill.
Yep.
You had to sell your car for real life stuff, you know, to be able to pay for surgery for your child. Like, these are stories people never tell, right?
Yep.
Everybody always acts like, oh, I had all the money, I had it all together. That is not usually how it happens. You know, it's just, I don't know why that part of the story touched me so, but I know you'll get it again, and you're gonna get that Grand National.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take a T-type too, you know.
And when you get that Grand National, you gotta come on my show and show us the Grand National.
Oh yeah, you already know. Yeah.
And you gotta make a replica of the Grand National too, your Grand National.
And see, I've already done that several times, but you know, my taste just changes so much, man. You know, it's just like all these dudes that flip their colors on the colorway on their cars. You know, it's like one year they're like, oh, I think I'm gonna go with this pearl, or I'm gonna go with this candy, you know, and or hey, this guy, he's doing the same car as me, you know, so you know, I don't want to do this no more, you know, I'm gonna do something different, you know, and I don't know, man. At this point, I think everything's kind of been done, you know, but to each his own. Everybody's got their own tastes and what they like, and you know, I actually like 71s. I'm pretty sure you could tell that by my page. But that's kind of like my new dream, you know, like I still want a GN, don't get me wrong, or a T-type, but 71 would probably make me a little giddy, you know. And I talk to these dudes a lot about their cars and tell them, man, just don't take it for granted, you know. Enjoy it every day because it's a blessing. And just like you say, not everybody, you know, is blessed. You know, find something you can do to help somebody. You know, don't loan them money. Just give them, you know, money and just be a blessing to people, you know, because you may not think that you got stuff, like you say, but, you know, you're living better than somebody else. And that's always how I try to look at it.
Yeah. I think a lot of us do take for granted. Like, for so much of my life, I was busy seeing what I didn't have versus seeing what I do have. And over these past, so I live in Atlanta. Over these past few, maybe 3-4 days, it's been freezing. Like freezing to the point where if you leave a bottle of water in your car, it will be frozen when you go out. So the fact that we have a warm bed to sleep in, and some people don't, you know what I'm saying? I think we, especially a lot of people in the car world, a lot of people in this car world are playing with the money that some people wish they had.
Right.
To be honest, you playing with it. When we going to spend, rims ain't cheap. We'll start with rims. Right. When we going to spend 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 or more on rims, some people just wish they had that to be able to even just buy a little putt car to get back and forth to work. Yep. So you're absolutely correct. A lot of the things, a lot of the things that we take for granted, some people would wish they were in our position.
Yeah.
So to switch gears a little bit, what's one thing, one person that has hit you up, and to get a car, a replica from you, and you were like, if this person really hit me up, you don't have to say the name, but you were like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a few people like that that kind of like, wow, this dude, I just was kind of blown away. And uh, you see people that have top five, donks, and then they hit you up, like, hey, make me this, and you're like, is this for real? Like, because I mean, I get my fair share of hate too, man. I get people to just leave obnoxious, hateful, spiteful comments and messages, and I'm like, man, I build toys. I've never seen that, you know what I mean? But
Right.
I guess it comes with the following, which I'm not used to. I'm not used to having people follow me because it's just not something that I've ever set out to do.
Right.
So, when they hit me up, I kind of thought, man, this gotta be a scam, or, they just fishing to see what the prices are, something like that. And, but no, I mean, there's some people out there with deep pockets, I'll just say that.
Right.
And, they've actually, spent with me, and, I appreciate that. And, it just makes it all worth the while, because that's what I do it for. I do this for fun, man. I enjoy the culture, from the real cars to the toy cars, and I enjoy everything about it. I might not know everything there is to know about it, like especially when it comes to like donk racing and things like that. I mean, some of that stuff can just spin your brain, but I try to educate myself and stay up to tune with everything that I can, and just kind of be like a jack of all trades. I don't know everything about it, but I know a little bit about everything. And I think that kind of helps. If not, I mean, it definitely helped them people to search me out and DM me and say, hey, I see what you're doing. If you could, how much would this cost to do, and what's the turnaround time, uh, and I try to tell them I'm one person, like a lot of people seem to think I'm a business, like a full-blown legitimate business, and I got this manufacturing plant behind me with workers, pumping out these die-cast cars. And it just, I mean, I wish that was true. If Rick Ross or Trick Daddy's watching this, hey, I've got ideas, man, and I need investors. So,
Right.
that's the type of people I need involved with me, and to make it happen, because this culture is growing, and it's funny because it used to be seen as, I don't know, kind of nefarious, kind of like, if you're involved with the streets, what all goes along with it, and a lot of people want to shy away from that, and they want to say, oh, these cars got big wheels, they look ridiculous, this and that. But then, you see them, kind of looking at, breaking their neck when you drive by. And it's starting to catch steam. And I think that if you can get on the forefront of it and somehow, with the donk racing, for instance, donk master, people like that, they brought like a whole new perspective to cars, to car culture, and a lot of people are starting to get into it to where it's helping other people have a good living. You know what I mean? It's providing another means of a way to live than they had in the past. And a lot of these toy manufacturers, I'm gonna say this now, they low key hate on donks. They low key hate on donk culture. And that's why you don't see, 70s GM vehicles out there, that you can go buy for your kid, or that you can go buy for yourself. Like, if I had that backing, if I had the investments, if I had somebody with deep pockets and understood the culture, we could make something like that happen. Then everybody that's into cars would have, whatever they like. There's tons of muscle cars, there's tons of low riders, tons of tuners. But when the last time you gone to the store and seen a 72 or, a 74 Impala sitting on the shelf? You know what I mean? You just don't. So to make that happen, I would like to see that, but I'm kind of probably getting off here, but
Oh, you good.
it's just it's just like, the donk culture has been something where I'm from. It's been around since I was like 15, like I started off with that Regal and I had like 13s and I thought I was a shit, excuse my language, but I was like, man, I got 13s, I'm doing it, and not even a couple weeks later, my car got stolen.
Hey,
So
where
it's
was it? Where are you from?
I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, so we call it Nap Town, but or Napganistan, whatever you want to call it. But I had two Regals stolen, so I once you start building, people start recognizing, they see it, and they want that for themselves, just like anywhere, and it just, as time grew, into the 2000s, you see the early donks with the super jacked up suspensions and things like that. Some of that stuff still touches me, because I come from that era, like I didn't have those themed donks, but I respect them in every sense, and it's kind of like the museum, you go see these cars that led and paved the way for the cars today. Well, those donks, regardless of how Skittle themed or M&Ms or whatever candy theme they had, they led the way, and the builders, the shops that did all that, I-95 Motorsports, people like that. Man, I'm telling you, like those were the forefront. Donk magazine. I don't know if you ever had those or not, but I had the Donk magazines. I used to go to
Right.
like Kroger and all that, to try to find me a Donk magazine to check out and dream about what I wanted. You know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know. I see it getting bigger. And I saw something the other day that said like Pac's son is now carrying shirts that say like donk, or she's got a donk or whatever. And I'm like,
Right.
wow.
So, I see in the comments. Let's talk about. We don't necessarily have to get into pricing, but let's talk about what all types of toy. You call them toys. I call them replicas.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever you call them, whatever you're comfortable with, that's what we can call them. But what types are you able to make? Are you able to make anything?
I mean, if it's out there, I can tangibly grasp it and get it. I can try to do whatever I can put my little spin on. You know what I mean? So like, for instance, with the 71s, a lot of people want them donks. They made the 71 and they made the 76, and they did that for like I think 2 years. Like the manufacturer that made them. So
Mm-hmm.
even though they might have mass produced them for like 20,000, however many thousands they made, they're becoming rare to find. Like it's hard for me to find them physically. So when I find them, I buy them, and I'm at that seller's mercy. So say that seller's like, oh, I want $100 for this, well, I've got to make, my profit off of it and my time and effort into it too. So, that's going to reflect on the pricing. And with them becoming harder to find, I mean, I just can't make those certain cars for people because you just can't find them. They're not available. So when I do, it's like, hey, you better jump on this because this might be one of your only opportunities to get this car, And granted, I'm not the only builder out here. There's so many great builders and customizers in this hobby, and I could just go on for days naming people, But I'm not the only one. Just know that there's always other people besides myself. So if I tell you I can't make something, I'll try to turn you on to somebody else who can, or I'll try to at least point you in that right direction, if I got the time anyway. And, so when it comes to making certain things, I can pretty much do whatever you need. I mean, to a certain extent. Now,
So okay, you mentioned 71 and 76 dumps.
yeah,
Those are the ones that like the actual toy manufacturers made.
yeah,
So you can buy those.
yeah.
So what happens if somebody has a 72 or 73, 74, 75? Are you able to turn those into that year for them?
Well, I mean, that's a good question because a 71 is close, in resemblance to a 72. I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference in them. You know, maybe side molding, the rear, you know, the vents, things like that. But I mean, even the manufacturers didn't get these cars right. Like the 71 that they made, it don't have the right back glass. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever told you that or you looked at them or not, but the back glass is kind of rounded off. It should have more of a indented, you know, pushed in, like the 76 does. They make 75s now in Matchbox, which, you know, it's cool, but they're little cars, you know, and I like more scale proportional, you know, cars that look more realistic. And, you know, but for people who just want a dump, the 75 is a great option from Matchbox because you can get them for like $5 or $6, you know, and I mean, who doesn't have $5 or $6, you know, that they can spend on that if they really wanted it.
Yeah, but they want to customize it and put their paint and put their wheels on it,
right,
and you know, fix it that way for them, right?
yeah, and you can, and you know, 3D printing's come a long way too. You know, like you can pretty much 3D print anything. I mean, if you got the right printer, if you know what you're doing with CAD design and things like that, I could scan your face and make you an action figure. You know what I mean? It's just it's
Listen, we might be
wild,
on something. Don't be giving away our secrets.
right? Right. But yeah, I mean, you could do almost anything, you know, that you put your mind to or that you have, like that you envision, you can put, you know, out there and have it made. Um, the only thing I'd like to say is like a lot of there's guys like Replica King, top notch model cars. I'm sure these names have come across your feed or something at some point. These guys, man, they kill it in 124 scale. But, you know, a lot of the time, the donks that they have to use or get are promo models, and they made them at the dealership, you know, they're GMP models. So they can go in $300-400 just to get one of these cars, just stock, you know. Then you figure you're going to pay them to paint it, to put wheels on it, put a system in it, however you want it done. That's going to run up the ticket, you know. And, you know, with me, I try to keep it simple. I try to keep everything within $100 to $200 range. That way it appeals to most people. And, you know, maybe you can't afford 200, but you can afford 100, you know, or something. Or maybe you just want a simple wheel swap on your little car, you know, like I sell wheels for, you know, like $20, $25, you know, it is what it is. But I mean, I'm trying to make money too, you know, so it's,
Can I give you a piece of advice that somebody gave me,
sure.
this piece of advice has served me well. I understand you want to try to keep something at that price for like people that may just want to do it but can't get into it.
Yeah.
But don't ever short sell your craft. That's what somebody told me. Don't ever sell your craft short. That's what I'm trying to say.
I got
So I understand the $100 and $200, and that might be my area.
right.
But then it's people that want what they want, and they'll pay you
Yeah.
$1,000, $2,000, $3,000
Right.
for it. But don't ever sell your craft short, because while I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people that would love to do what you do, not everybody can do it.
I appreciate that.
So,
you know, the funny thing is, you saying that, I didn't mean to cut you off, but, you know, recently I actually did a replica for somebody and they put that on eBay. I don't know if you caught that post or not, but I charged a guy, I think it was like 150 or 175 to do, it was a candy red 71 on spokes. It ended up going on eBay for like $325, $50, something like that. You know, so the dude made, you know, his money back and then twice that, you know what I mean, off what he paid me. And I don't even charge that, you know what I mean? So I was kind of blown away by it. I was like, oh, wow, you know, get up there, you know. But it kind of made me feel like, you know, like I'm doing something right. Because if somebody is wanting to pay that kind of money for what I do and the artwork that I create, then that makes me feel good about what I'm doing. Now, I'm not going to try to charge people that, you know, to say that, but, you know, at the same time, it made me kind of reevaluate what I do and how much I do charge. Because I'm like, well, hell, if they're willing to pay that, let me say here, it's a rack right now.
Did this play in your head? Yesterday's price is not today's
Today's
price.
price, yeah, definitely. So
So the
a
whole
lot of,
time we've been talking, I'm sorry, you go ahead.
I was gonna say a lot of people though, they didn't really take it too well. You know, you see a lot of the negativity that comes along with it, like, oh, that's too much for this or that's too much for that. But you got to remember, people, you know, like I'm not just sitting there pulling it out of a package and selling it. I'm putting hours and hours and hours into these things. Right now, I'm finishing up with my last customer of the year, and I've had her vehicles for probably a good month or two, you know, and it's just like I have so many obligations to other people that I took on. I didn't think that it was going to be like that, you know, like I didn't think that, oh, this problem was going to come up, or this need to repaint it, or this got fish eyes in the paint, or whatever the case may be. But when those things happen, you got to take into consideration the amount of time that it's going to be just to get it right, you know, and I'm not going to send you no bogus junk, janky looking work. It's just not how I do it. I'd rather just send you your money back and be like, hey, I screwed up. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I appreciate you willing to work with me, and I appreciate your faith in me and reaching out to me, but I just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, but I try my best to never let that happen. And so, you know, this last customer, like, oh man, her bill's been killing me. Okay, so I'm more than ready to get these over with and get them out to her. But you know, after I get off here tonight, I actually got to, you know, finish some paint work on them because it's been a nightmare. But you know, I didn't mean to cut you off, so go ahead.
You're good. So I've seen quite a few people in the comments say that they want to get with you about making a couple of things. So Joker Joe, this is his second time asking, and he said he'd like an 83 T-top Monte Carlo lowrider. Is that something that you would be able to make for him?
Well, I mean, possibly.
So
The thing
if they
is,
need to hit you up about building something for them, what's the best way to do that?
through DM. I mean, I try to get to the messages as quick as I can. Just bear with me because uh, I'm not trying to sound like I'm woo 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 this guy or nothing, but I get flooded with DMs on a daily basis, and it seemed like I can't answer them quick enough for people to be, you know, please, you know, to please. You can't please everybody,
Right.
but I just can't answer them enough. And then when I do, you know, maybe 10 other people message me. That's going to push that down my inbox. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna I'm not gonna remember the thread of what we talked about or this or that. So I try to tell people, stay on me, you know, just stay on me. And the more you get in my head about it, the more you're there, you know. There's a couple of people like that. They're like, hey, don't forget me. Hey, don't forget me. Just checking in, you know. And I remember it, but it's like I can't do nothing. My hands are tied because I'm already so obligated to these people that have paid me money and everything that like, what's up, Dream City? Uh just to you know, bear with me on the time that it takes, because eventually I have a method to the madness, and I will get around to answering you. It may not be for a week or two, or you know, something may happen. Last time I deleted my messages, man, my IG shut down for like 2 days. Like, that's how bad it was. And I mean, it was like I had to delete like hundreds of messages, and I can't answer them all. You know, like, it's a blessing, trust me, and I'm very grateful for it, but it's overwhelming. Like, I just can't do it all. And so, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so what I plan on doing is I tell people I'm opening my commissions up in spring. When the new year starts, I'm taking a break and I'm going on vacation, and I'm gonna take some much needed me time. But when I come back, I'm gonna try to make it fair to everybody. So I have a plan. I'm not sure if it'll work out because I mean it's kind of all new to me, and I'm just trying to figure it all out as I go. But I'm gonna try to have people sign up. Say I'll do like a page with like 25 or 50 names. Sign up here, and then I'm gonna random generate 2 of them names per month. That way it gives 2 people an opportunity to get whatever replica or whatever they want built. And that way I'm not obligated to like 10, 20 people trying to bang all these customs out for them and replicas, because I can't do it. And I want to focus more on detail, intricacy, making everything look legit and as real as possible. I can't do that when I'm pushing out 10 of them at a time to people. It's just, you can't focus all your time on one person when you have so many people that you're obligated to. So I would like to focus more on a smaller list of commissions. That way I can focus more on detail and getting it to the quality I feel it should be. And I don't know if you've seen any of my recent posts, but I'm working with LED lights. I'm trying to get the doors to open. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to do it. But it's all new to me, just like 3D printing. I just jumped into that like 3 months ago, and ain't nobody want to help you, because you're cutting into their business. Like they don't want to lose money, but I got to figure it out, because I can't keep paying other people to do stuff for me. I outsource so much stuff, it's crazy, and I just want to be able to do everything in-house, and kind of like an independent recording artist. You know what I mean? I want to make my bread for the time and work that I put into it. I don't want to pay other people or pay royalties or whatever, So it's me ranting a little bit, but
No, let me just say this. When I saw them headlights on that car, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He got headlights on the car. I think I'm just a big kid. It
right.
excited me so much for them headlights. I was like, oh man, I got to repost it. And another thing you talked about, like, I want to unpack a few things. You talked about people hating on you now. They say with new levels come new devils. So you just gotta understand that.
Yeah.
Like I'm one of the most least confrontational people you're gonna ever find in your life. But I get that. You get what I'm saying? So that's gonna come. Second thing is when I seen, well, maybe that's the third thing, but when I seen from the time I hit you up months and months ago, you have grown so much. So it's probably about to be time for you to hire a secretary or something, or somebody to run your social media for you, because
Hey,
you
you got
get
that
in
web.
there. Like
You got
I
that
was
web design,
the other
So
day, I was like, oh my God, like when did this happen?
yeah, and I'm about the privacy. Like, I keep my private life private. I don't want my kids being seen. I don't want my family, in the mix. It's just my personal choices. Like I separate that for a reason. I'm not really a social media guy. I know that kind of sounds funny seeing how I got a following, but I'm really not. And so it's all kind of new to me. I recognize you need social media, you need a following, you need this kind of stuff to back you and help you be successful. But at the same time, it's like, everybody always says I want the money, not the fame, and that's kind of me. I don't really want to be a part of anything. I just want to say, hey, this dude's holding up this little car, and he's like, man, who made that? And oh, it's Indy Scale Customs. Like he's this dude that does toy cars, replicas, and that's all I care about, man. Like I just want people to be happy with what they get, happy with what they see. I want to inspire other people to be, into wanting to build cars, build models, spend time with their kids, whoever the case may be, like uh, I don't know, man. I mean, I've got a couple people that have been on me. You were talking earlier. One just came to mind. Speed Shop, Sacktown Speed Shop. Man, he's got a clean 71. And at SEMA, he debuted that, I guess, on Whips by Wade's wheels, the Wades. And man, them things are nasty. And he's been on me to build him, a replica. And it's just like I can't find them, like I would love to, but I can't find them. But it just, the whole point of doing this is to inspire people, and someone like him to approach me and be like, hey, I'm patiently waiting for this, it makes me feel good, because it makes me feel like I'm doing something right. Like I want people to love the hobby just like I do, just like you do. It ain't just about the hobby, it's about the whole life, the whole culture, the I don't know, man. It's like with cars, cars are always gonna love. You may think they hate you, but they all, they show you love. They make.
Our cars outlast our
That's right.
relationships.
You know what I mean? That's right. I'm never going for, my wife, man, we've been together for, 2002. So it's going on 21 years, 2001, 22 years. My fault. She gonna kick my ass. But, you know, we, when we met, I was in the G body, and she used to whip the G body, we'd ride around that, and she whipped the G body. And then when I got it painted, I'll never forget this. She backed into somebody, and I was like, "Oh hell no, you did not." but but it just, there's so many memories, that have taken place over 20 plus years, and they're all been in the old school. Like, I could remember so many things in the old school. Maybe not the greatest stuff that I should talk about, but
Don't.
yeah, you don't want to know, but it's been fun, and that's I guess that's where my obsession, my passion for it comes from. It's like, I had those cars, I've been in them cars, and I've seen this stuff for so long that it just is second nature, man. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to inspire other people, maybe kids coming up, to build model cars, to dream about what they can have, to keep their dream, keep their dreams out there. Don't stop dreaming. And I'm not stopping dreaming, because I still want my G body built. I still want that donk, but, life, like you said, gets in the way. And I'm hoping that maybe 2023 will be different for both of us. And, that's all you can do.
Man, listen. So here's the thing. Yes, he does sell the cars that he builds. But here's the thing, to listen to you talk about it, you can hear in your voice the fact that you love it. Like, it's some people that just do it just cause, right?
Yeah.
But I really love the people that love the cars, that are in the car. Different people are in the car world for different reasons, right? We talk about this all the time, me and my friends on the back end, right? Some people are in the cars just before the spotlight it gets them, right?
Right.
Then some people would be into cars no matter whether it got them spotlight or not. So I really love the people that just are in it for the love of the cars. Although it does take all type of people to make up this world, and to make up the car world, I just love to hear somebody like you talk about, and when you talk about it, your face, you know what I'm saying, to hear the joy and the excitement in your voice, to hear, oh man, I started doing this by accident. You really did. You started doing it by accident. And then when life dealt you something, a partial bad hand, you kind of took lemons and made them into lemonade, right?
Yeah.
So I can only see it going up from here. Like, I think we should revisit this interview. Okay, so it's the end of 2022.
Okay.
Let's revisit it the end of 2023, and let's see where you are, because I know it's gonna be totally different. I know you're gonna have a lot of stuff to tell me. I actually, this interview goes on YouTube, right? And I know that some of the people maybe that you may not have mentioned, or that you don't even know that follow me, may go and see this interview. And when you talked about you wanting to get funding to build on a large scale, or to be able to build, do a lot more than what you do currently, they may see it. So I'm curious to see what happens at the end of 2023. So we're gonna revisit this interview, if you're willing, the end of next year. How about that?
Oh, definitely. But the thing is, I'm willing to even sell the idea. You know what I mean? Like, if it means that, like, Ross or Trick, they can have a manufacturing plant out there, and they can start manufacturing these cars. They may not know it yet, because they might not even be concerned with this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But if they was thinking about the money potential, that it could make. I mean, you can only rap or do this for so long, you know what I mean? Like, this could be something that, you know, for years, the toy business has always been booming. I mean, always. And it's just like toilet paper, you know, and toiletries, you're always going to need it. Baby food, you're always going to need it, you know. Toys are always going to be needed for kids, always going to be needed for big kids, little kids, however you see it. But if they was just to see that vision and see that there is a niche out there and that nobody's making this stuff, you know, hey, I brought it to the table. Just drop me a little bag. You know, I don't need a big
No,
bag.
not no little bag. You don't want no little bag. You want a big bag. I told you stop selling yourself short. You want a big bag.
Just, just let me get what's due to me. You know what I mean? And that's all I care about, man. And help the other people. You know, hey, if they did that, imagine the manufacturing jobs they could offer. You know what I'm saying? That could employ people. You know, like, it may not be a huge thing, but it's something. You know, and maybe people that have that passion, uh, you know, will get into it, and it'll bloom from there, blossom from there. You know, so.
How about you got my wheels turning? I'm trying to figure out how to invest in you so we can open up our manufacturing plant.
Right.
I got a few of my rich friends on here. So
There you go. See, hey, listen to KP, yo. You know, and that's really where it's at, because I mean, it's all about network, right? You got to network, and you got to know the right people in the right places. And where I come from, man, I'd like to say that it was the gutter. You know, like, I came out of that. You know, and it's when you're in that situation, you don't really know a whole lot of people in high places. You know, and now I'm coming into contact with a lot of people in different backgrounds, you know, all kinds of stuff that's just wild. And maybe it'll work for somebody, you know. And I've approached these designers at these companies. You know, I've been in this hobby for a long time. I just haven't been doing what I'm doing now. You know, I've been a collector for a very long time. And a lot of the designers just, they don't want to hear you. You know, like, I could sit there and talk to them blue in the face and they just ignore you, you know. And it's like, hey, I bet they ain't want to ignore me now. You know what I'm saying? Because that's money that they're missing, you know what I mean? And with this culture growing as much as it has, they can't keep shutting the door on us. They can't keep closing us out. And if they do, they're just going to turn away bags and bags of money. And that's why I'm saying those investors need to get hip, and they need to think about this in the terms of longevity. It's a proprietary thing for them to get involved in. And if they can make it happen and we can open those doors, I mean, it's just a lot of income potential for a lot of people. And not to mention, it make everybody happy, man. Like, that's involved with this stuff, you know. But I
so
don't
this
say it.
is my last question.
Sure.
One of the fans asked, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to someone looking to get into what you do?
I mean, I guess it's kind of vague, you know what I mean? Like, to me, what if you want to get involved with something? I mean, you're probably going to just have to go out and buy you a model kit or buy you a Hot Wheel or whatever floats your boat, you know what I mean? And then just kind of let your creative juices up here flow, you know. Sit down and take a piece of paper, draw something out, you know. Maybe you're not the greatest artist or you can't draw that good, but just do what you can, and experiment with paint. Get some paints and just start painting stuff. I mean, it's all a process. The process is trial and error. You know, you're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes every day. I mean, I tell you what, like I told you earlier, this last customer of mine, I've had nothing but problems with the paint, you know, and some of the easiest paint jobs that you think are going to go down without a hitch, you know, that it's just the opposite, you know. Like, I could put a pearl paint job or a candy paint job on something and it'd be easy peasy. But then I go to do like a base coat of something, you know, some just plain Jane paint, and it'll give me nothing but problems, you know. So you just got to be willing to accept that you're not going to be perfect or flawless at anything you do. And even over time, it's going to take years and years and years of mastering things to get to the level that you want to be at for yourself, especially if you're a perfectionist, you know. And so all I can say is, you know, just stick with it. You got to start somewhere. You got to buy something and just give it a go. and see where it takes you, you know, and the journey will be great. I promise you.
Yeah, because you ain't never think you was gonna be here
Nah,
where you are now.
I sure didn't. Not with
Right.
my Gucci mask, you know what I mean? But you know, maybe
So,
next year I'll get over my anxiety. You know what I'm saying? But we'll
listen,
see.
I don't care if you gotta. I don't care how you gotta come back. But see, the only thing we do know is you're gonna be up. You're gonna be. You think you up now, but you're gonna be way up there by the time you come back next
Yeah,
year.
that's what the homies was telling me. It's like, hey, KP gonna turn you out. I was like, yeah. I was like, I appreciate it, you know, because I can use it, you know, like I appreciate you, you know, and I try to stay involved with you on comments and you know, like you said, DMs, you know, even if it's giving you encouragement. I know it seemed like here lately something was kind of, I don't know if I was reading it a little wrong, but you know, you seemed a little bummed, and I just wanted to, like, you know, give you that little bit of like, you know, hey, I'm on your side, you know what I mean? Guys are on
You
your
know
side.
what though? Life is up and down. That's the only thing about life. You know, no matter who you are or where you are or where you are in your journey on life, things it's gonna be ups and downs, and that's just what it is.
Right? Yeah. But you know,
So I would
you always got a friend in me. Nah, you good. I said you always got a friend in me, though. You know.
thank you. I appreciate it. So I want to tell you, this has been a great interview. I just knew we was gonna have fun. It was gonna be full of encouragement. I just felt like I was happy. I've been waiting since last week to come talk to you. I was like, man, this is gonna be so positive. We're gonna have such a good time, and it did not disappoint. So, like I said, we're gonna revisit this next year because like I said, since we scheduled this interview, you have taken off since 3-4 months ago. I was like, dang, what
Yeah,
happened?
yeah.
Every time I looked at the page, and I am so super proud of you. And like I said, you haven't even reached the pinnacles that you are going to reach.
I appreciate that, KP. Truly.
You're welcome.
And same with
So,
you. You know, I can only see it getting better for you. You know, you keep expanding your horizon, keep learning new trades, new things. I mean, all those are a tool in your work belt. You know, and they're just going to help you to be more successful, to climb that ladder even more. And you know, those who ain't with you, hey, they're gonna get left. You know what I
you know
mean?
what I
It's just
say to them? I ain't going to say it on here, but you know what I say to them.
yeah, I know.
So thank you so much for sitting down with us tonight. We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you too, KP. Have
Have
a
a good
good
night.
evening. See you.
All right. So, guys, if y'all missed any of today's episode, make sure you catch the replay on YouTube. Click the link in my bio and get on and go make sure you comment, like, view, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can catch up on all the past episodes of Rise and Vibes there. Also, after this episode ends, we do have an announcement. Me and Don't Ride or Die are going to come right back, and we have an announcement for something that we're going to do starting at the top of the year. So y'all come right back. I'm going to end the episode, and y'all just come right back. Thank y'all for tuning in. Everybody have a good night.